I think that's what gets people overwhelmed by self-care is, oh gosh, I have to take a 10-day silent retreat, or I have to go here for a whole day, when if you actually just start to integrate tiny rituals, and self-care should be curated, because whatever works for my self-care isn't going to work for either of you, maybe, right? So it is really about getting to know what your self-care rituals even are.
You're listening to the Almost 30 podcast, hosted by Krista Williams and Lindsay Simsick. Almost 30 started as a conversation about the transition from our 20s to our 30s. But then we realized life is full of transitions. So we expanded our mission.
We are an intuition-led, wellness-focused lifestyle podcast that promises to deliver authentic conversations, diverse points of view, and insights rooted in optimism, growth, and intention. The Almost 30 Nation community is a group of purposeful dreamers who are smart, passionate, and always seeking the full potential in every aspect of their lives.
At Almost 30, we're making magic together. We dream it,
and then we do it.
Thanks so much for tuning into the Almost 30 podcast.
Here we go.
Woo! Welcome back to Almost 30 podcast. We are so glad you are here.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
It's Lindsay.
I have a lot of prana running through my body. I do, actually. I have a lot of energy today.
Good.
It's really good. And we were just talking. So if you're new to Almost 30 podcast, we are a podcast that started during the transition from our 20s to our 30s. And now it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
We talk about spirituality, entrepreneurship,
love,
sex, health and wellness.
Yeah. All the things,
whatever.
We're all going through it.
So we're so happy you're here. Thank you to the person that recommended you or whoever you found us. We are grateful.
True.
We were just talking before and you said something, and I think we were talking about like exes, and I think it's such a good marker of knowing if you're done is if they call you by your name.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like you said, like being like, hey, Lindsay, like, wow.
Mm-hmm. But the funny thing is, and I said this in response, he did that like normally.
I don't like when people
which
do
is
that
and I feel like it's an energetic like thing between us. So it's not allowing me to go in and like go deeper with him. So yeah, it was really, it fucking makes my skin crawl.
I know. Calling people, like even my friends by their names is weird. I have a friend actually who I love very much, and she calls me by my name. It's really sweet and endearing, but sometimes I'm like, are we friends? I don't want you to call me like, just call me like that bitch,
Or just like short, or it's like hey Kay, or
yes.
like hey girl.
Nicknames
hey,
for
sister,
life. I'm
whatever.
a nicknamer. Nicknames for life. Nicknames are everything.
Mm-hmm. I like to do it way early on.
Yes.
Like I like to
do it when they don't want me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
When they're uncomfortable with me calling them a nickname.
And then when they start doing it themselves, I'm like,
yes.
You're with me.
Whether they like it or not, I'm going to nickname them.
Truly.
Just kidding. Like our video guy, Tommy.
T Creamy.
T Creamster. Like Terry, my mom, top dollar tea.
It just makes it more fun.
Makes life more fun. Justin, Penny.
Penny Pen.
Short for penis. Whatever.
It's so funny when, and I feel like I'm meeting people more often now. Maybe it's because we are so going the other way where it's like, we talk about aliens and just kind of like the supernatural and, just having fun and believing it all, right? And what's the harm in that? But when people are so hard and fast about like, no, I'm not, or like even plant medicine. Yes, I know that's controversial, but people are like, never, nope, no, I don't even want to talk about tarot cards. Like I asked my friend the other day, I was like, can I pull a card for you? Because we were like talking about something. He's like, absolutely not. No witchcraft. I was like,
no witchcraft.
I was like, okay, man. Anyway, they're oracle cards. But it's so funny when you meet those people that are just so, it's so boring.
I know.
I'm like, it's so fun to believe that there literally could be a spirit helping you out today.
What is that?
Let's have fun.
Life is short and then you die. Those are those people. Yeah, the whole thing, it's like, whatever. So it's not true. So it is true. I actually, I was out recently talking to someone and they were talking about ancient Egypt and advanced races around ancient Egypt, whatever. And
casual conversation.
And I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, all right. So they were like, kind of let it. And then I kind of said a little bit about what I thought. And I was like, oh, I'm fucking crazy, dude. Like I was like, oh, you're kind of there, but I'm way, way out there. And it was like, they were kind of like, what is going on? I'm like, oh, wow. I literally live in my own world.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But yeah, the thing, it was actually this morning I woke up early because of jet lag. So I was up at like 4 and I was waiting for my sweet boyfriend to wake up. And I was just, doing a dirty ass scroll. I mean, I was catching up on all the brain numbing shit. Honestly, I was looking at like all my exes, just like seeing what's up. All of them are private, to be honest.
Oh,
yeah. I just want to see like what's going on.
Totally. Oh, I do
what's
those.
New in the hood. Oh my God. Like this girl from college that I knew, like I was on Kylie, like it was like hilarious. I was like deep into like Miley and Liam. Like it was a hilarious morning. I was like, oh wow.
And then Justin woke up, you're like, hello.
I was like, hello. And it was funny. I was looking at like a Kylie post and it was like liked by, oh, that's J Hall. And I was like, huh. Interesting. It was actually a cool post. I was like, I'm into her outfit. It was like a white jumpsuit, whatever. It wasn't like Justin would literally never do that because he's so scared of me. But I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, like I forgot that he likes photos on Instagram.
Oh my God. Yes.
And I actually was thinking, when I got up in the morning, I was like, damn, like I haven't tried to look through his phone in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like old exes, I'd be like, yes, they're sleeping. It's my time. Literally, it's my time to shine. I was like, here we go. One time, like one phone got locked. It got like locked on me because I tried the passcode so much. Oops. And then they came back to their phone. It was
mom's
locked.
Birthday.
They were like, what the fuck? I'm like, I have no idea.
I've never looked in a boyfriend's.
You're lying.
Swear to God. But I've been looked on. So like
I've been looked on too.
I mean, my ex, that's how I got in trouble.
You know what's fucking hilarious? The girls in the group, in our secret Facebook group were talking. One of the girls left her journal out and open and her husband was home that day. So she was at work and she left her journal out and open and she was like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. And I was thinking about in high school, I was talking to this guy or dating him and I cheated on him and made out with someone else. And I wrote about it in my journal and he just so happened to find and read my journal. And so I told him it was like a novel that I was writing. I was like, he's like, oh, what does this say? Like, it says you actually made out with this person. I was like, this is a novel that I'm starting. I was like, I'm actually starting a novel right now and it's kind of about my life, but not.
The commitment. I'm sure that was 100%. Like an Academy Award winning performance.
And it's funny because it's like just, making out. I know. Oh my God, dude. If you've ever been caught as a cheater, that feeling of adrenaline is
my God.
There's nothing else like it.
Oh,
I mean, being caught doing anything.
I could poop my pants right now thinking about it.
Cheating and other things that you're like, like you want to like.
You want to throw. I always wanted to.
You
want
to jump out of your skin.
Because they know, and like you're like, what's my face doing right now? Honestly. Truly, what's my face doing? Your brain
is like, what the fuck am I gonna say?
You're like, what did I write? What did I? What was the text? What was the this? What was the that?
Oh my gosh,
it's the worst. It's that's a lot of energy I've gotten back into my life because I don't lie. Mm-hmm. Lying takes so much energy.
So much energy. Oh my gosh. I mean, that stuff is like exhausting. And just being stressed all the time.
Totally.
Is just, dude.
No way to live.
It's honestly no way to live. One time I got caught. So in high school, I was known as a cheater. I was like cheating. I would cheat on people because I am amazing. And I'm amazing and really confident and secure in who I am. So, I never needed validation outside of myself. But I got caught cheating because I was dating this guy and I was still talking to one of the guys that was older. He went to college and the guy that I was dating heard and I was like, no. And then he came to see me and there was this hat, this like Bengals hat in my car. And it was the guy, my ex's, who I was still talking to, the older one. And he's like, whose hat is that? I was like, oh, it's my dad's. Like, he like knew my dad. He's like, okay, dad's like never worn a hat. I was like, it's my dad's, whatever. The next day he was getting a haircut. My ex walked in wearing that hat.
Of
bye
course.
bye.
Thanks, universe.
Thank you. Thank you. I was like,
fuck.
I'm trash.
Dude. Well, it's so funny. It just made me think about like, when did what gave us the inspiration to cheat? Do you know what I mean?
100.
Like, where does that come from? I need to sit and think about that because I'm not sure. Where I was like, I'm going to do this.
I liked the attention. I loved the attention. I was bored in high school. I got good grades. I was in AP classes, but I really liked the attention.
And one person was not enough. Yeah.
I mean, I was a loser. Everyone's a loser. So
everyone was like,
it's not like I was like, in high school, you're figuring it out too. You're like, okay. And I didn't really know how to turn down attention that I liked, and be honest. Yeah. I didn't really have a sense of self enough to be like, I really appreciate the sentiment of your advances, but I'm currently with partner.
Yeah. Because unless the relationship is really fucking good, you're not going to like fight for it. And so you kind of like let that green grass in. You're like, ooh, that could be nice.
100%. You let that green grass in. I mean, it happened to me 100 times. I did it a fair amount. Mm-hmm. I like the attention.
Oh man, TBT. Yeah, all mine are like married, about to have babies. I'm just waiting.
Actually, they're all married and with baby, pretty much. Yeah, I think so. One might be. Yeah. Again, I think it would be so fun to have exes on the podcast. Anyway, 100%. I'll pay them. I was thinking actually, I was like, each of them has where I left them. They stayed in Ohio, in other cities I've lived.
I'm shaking
wherever
my head
I left them, they stayed, and nothing changed. Mm-hmm. So, peace and love.
Peace
baby.
And love. Peace and lots of love.
Peace and love.
Okay. Cool.
Cool beans. Yeah. So
I feel good.
Yeah. So
next time on Cheaters.
I know, honestly. Next time on Tales of Trash, starring me.
Oh, hell. All right. I would love to just post some announcements here because we have such a beautiful schedule coming up on the road. We love being on the road, meeting all of you. And it's just something that not all podcasters do, not a lot of podcasters at all do, but truly we feel like this is our prana. It keeps us alive. So coming up, we will be in LA. We will be at the Riveter in West LA, hosting an event with our girl, Nicole Lappin, who has her new book coming out, Becoming Superwoman. She's just a force to be reckoned with, so smart, just so honest too, and so relatable. And so we're going to have an incredible event with her, talking all things burnout to balance, all things finances. You will get all of your questions answered and tons of sponsors. You'll be in a room with other like-minded, amazing women. So we'd love to see you there.
Yeah, so excited about that one. We love Nicole so much. We've done a few episodes with her, so you can find those on Almost 30 podcast. And then we're also excited about Nashville, baby. We have Julie Solomon on Wednesday, the 18th, and she is going to discuss with us how to embrace emotions and harness them to build an online presence and influence that reflects your biggest passions and dreams. So in this workshop session, we're going to get clear on your why, and you're going to be in a very safe space so that you can feel seen, you can feel valued, and you can feel heard. Tickets available on site for that one. And then we also are doing an event in Nashville with Dr. Josh Axe of Ancient Nutrition. It's on Thursday. And we are going to be talking about hormone health, keto, blood sugar, supporting your adrenals, normalizing digestion, and ultimately balancing your hormones. Dr. Axe founded draxe.com, which is one of the top natural health websites in the world today. And he is just super knowledgeable and sweet. And we are excited about both of those.
Cannot wait. Almost30podcast.com for tickets. They will sell out, so I would get them in advance. Tell your friends, come together or come alone, whatever you want. We will be there and can't wait to squeeze ya. This episode I'm really, really excited about. Colleen McCann is one of our dear friends. She is the founder of Style Rituals, and she is our go-to for all things crystals and bringing woo-woo into our lives in a way that we can really incorporate organically and not feel so much pressure to do so, like pressure to do it the right way. She makes everything so tangible and relatable, and I love her.
Yeah, me too. And in this, we really made things super digestible as it relates to crystals. So we did this almost as quick fire in a lot of ways of what crystal is good for a bad work environment, what crystal is good for self-love, body confidence, tapping into your intuition, and really focused on crystals and how they can help us in a mental, physical, and emotional way. It's based on her book, Crystal RX, that she put out earlier this year.
Yeah, we love Colleen. She actually did a special, I wouldn't say reading for us, but she came into our homes and created this beautiful grid according to northeast, southwest, and kind of the energetics within the corners of our home and where we should be putting crystals and certain energies. So it was really fascinating. So we dig into that as well. So thank you for listening. As always, share this with your friends. If you are called to rate and review on iTunes, that means a lot to us. We'll read a review on the other side of this episode, and we will see you on the road. Y'all are the best, and you're the reason why we do this. So see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Honestly, I love traveling so much now that I have my away bag. This magical bag is so lightweight, so easy to move around. These wheels are incredible and they just go every which way. There's so many different styles, sizes, colors, and I'm loving my carry-on. It's my go-to. So when we're on the road, I try to fit everything I need into my carry-on. This is a lightweight and durable shell that's made to last for a lifetime of travel. And there's built-in compression pad, which helps you pack more. So I don't have to ever worry about like, oh gosh, this is going to be oversized carry-on. They're not going to let me on. This bag doesn't let me. Like I put everything in there, I pack it in. These zippers are super, super strong and it's just made extremely well. And as I said, those wheels are amazing. They have 4 360-degree spinner wheels guaranteed for that smooth, smooth ride. And what's so cool is there's a combination lock built in to keep your things safe and an ejectable battery to keep your phone charged. So it's so convenient. I just love this bag. The carry-on and the bigger carry-on are my go-tos. This fits in the overhead bin when you're traveling. And I just can't say enough. So if you're looking for new luggage, cannot recommend more away travel. So my parents actually just got a whole fleet to take with them whenever they travel to visit us. And it's just so easy for them. My dad has a bad hip. My mom has a bad knee. And so these bags are really easy to travel around with and it doesn't inconvenience them in any way. If you'd like to try Away, you can visit awaytravel.com/almost30 and use the promo code almost30 during checkout for $20 off a suitcase. So that's awaytravel.com/almost30. Use the promo code almost30 during checkout for $20 off a suitcase.
Guys, we're here with Colleen. Woohoo! Something I love about you is you always have gifts. You're very giving.
I was literally just telling
You're
her
so
that.
giving. It's crazy.
So generous.
It's so generous.
Thank you.
Time I've ever seen you, you always have. And not because I like to receive gifts, but just because it's so thoughtful and you're so giving. Like every time you have like a basket of things.
Mhm.
Have you always been that way?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think that's probably my love language.
I was gonna
is
say,
giving gifts.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I came from fashion and you never leave your guests leave a party without a gift bag. So
Wow.
I'd say between those two things, hence
The gifts.
the bountiful gifts.
I know. What do you do? Like buy everything in bulk? I don't even understand.
No, that's what
Like
I
do you
was
have like a
wondering.
warehouse? Honestly. Because it's honestly like I leave with like a warehouse of stuff. Like I forgot when you set up our crystals today. So
I know.
guys, we got readings today
Yeah.
that we'll talk about. But there was so many crystals on the table, and then there was the feathers, and then there was everything. I'm like, oh, I forgot that we get these.
I know.
Like what
And I
a-
got really excited.
and I forgot at the first reading I did with you, I got all the crystals that I picked and
Absolutely.
And the
everything like that.
cards.
Yeah, and the cards.
That's what you're working with right now, though.
Yeah.
So you have to keep the crystals.
Yeah, that's so true. So Lindsay and I did readings today, or what would we call what we did today?
What happened?
I know.
It was amazing.
It was something we've never done before, and we've worked with you a bunch.
Yeah.
So this was exciting to do something completely new, and it just made so much sense. Like it was a little like I was like, oh, what are we going to do with the directions and as it relates to this space or any space you're in? But it did make me feel so much better.
Totally.
So what did we do?
Well, I thought it was time to pull out some new tricks out of my bag for you ladies. And what we did was something that falls under feng shui practices. And when you're getting a feng shui reading on your space, whether that's your home, your office, your studio, you're not only looking at the furniture, but something that I actually do is actually looking at the energy. And so I would take both of your birth dates, and that gets calculated, and you get a reading that kind of looks like an astrology chart, if you will, like it's based on your birthday. So everybody has different energy houses with their birth date. And so you're actually just looking at that when it's combined with a space, right? So everyone has a health direction, wealth, success, relationships. And then also what's very, very important to help us live a better life to our fullest is the weak corner and the directional chart. And we're looking at these charts so your listeners know, literally thinking about the compass, right? So you have the main directions, north, south, west, east, and then the subdirections, northwest, southwest, and so on. And so, for example, somebody's love direction might be in the north. And then we're kind of looking at how does that translate into their space? Like what's already sitting in the north direction in the house? Is there a couch there? Is it a closet? Is it a sliding glass door? Yeah. Right. And how does that actually
So we had different directions.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just
totally that. Yeah.
Okay. So Lindsay and I both had our directional charts available to us during this reading. And so that my relationship was southeast. And so what was yours?
Mine was northwest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Northwest.
Of course, that would be opposite.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's really funny. It's opposite.
Tell us more. What does that mean?
Yeah, the yin and the yang.
That's right. And, to your point, it is the yin and yang in a very good way, right? It's, you guys have a beautiful partnership because you come to the table with opposite skills.
Yep.
And isn't that interesting? It reflected in your charts.
Yeah. It always does.
It always does.
So basically, by someone typing in their birth information, it would give them, these readings on the directional chart. So my weak corner being north, my weak corner was west. What was yours? South?
Mine was
east?
Southeast, and it's this door.
Oh, wow.
How crazy is that? Yeah.
My week was just that one wall of my house towards the ocean.
Oh, okay.
So
where the garbage can was.
No, that was my success.
That was the success.
No, this was crazy. So we had my
double
reading.
Garbage can.
Yeah. And the success part of my chart was south. Was south, and there was 2 giant trash cans in my success part of my chart. Giant ass trash cans. I went to go put the card. So there's a crystal and there's a card that correlates to these parts of your chart, and we'll talk about that more later. But yes, I had 2 fucking large ass trash cans.
So what does that mean? It
means my success is trash.
But is it blocking her,
trash.
or
Yes.
is it like what is energetically happening when there's something like a door in my weak spot, like trash cans in her weak spot?
Well, let's talk about your weak spots, ladies.
Yeah.
Let's think about that. So Krista's weak spot had a trash can in it. Like, just think about what that metaphor is, and it coupled with the success direction. And if you think like, what's the story saying here? There's something I'm throwing something out around my success.
I'm keeping a bunch of trash in my success.
Or you're keeping a bunch of trash,
Honestly.
a bunch of debris that shouldn't be there.
There's a leakage of riffraff in my life.
Well, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Lindsay, when we were talking about your weak corner being in the southeast corner, which is where her front door is, nobody try and come over. And, it was really, there was a lot of message there, which I then asked you about like having better discernment about who you're letting in and out of your space and in and out of your life.
And your
Which
vagina.
you said, oh my, and your vagina.
And your vagina.
Like,
And your
all
butthole.
your
Totally.
holes.
Yep.
So
All my holes. We actually did a space clearing of my holes. Feels good
Damn,
now.
that's crazy. So what is exactly a weak spot? Like, what does that mean when we're looking at this?
it just means that there's, somewhere that there's I think, a potential for change and discernment in your life. And it shows up in the space, right? Like, what if somebody's weak spot is in a closet and they're a hoarder, right? So that's obviously affecting them, and we have to clean out the closet type of thing. So they're, and what's the metaphor or the story around that? This person has a hard time letting go, right? So, and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, no shit. Like, your weak corner's in the closet. And that's something, the positive spin on this is it's like, if this is coming up in your weak corner, it's also something that in life you just need to be super mindful of, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. In my north, there was Angel Michael. Michael came through in my weak spot, which is, like the angel that besides Raziel, he's like the angel that I work with the most. Did Raziel come through for you? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. He was east, and that was the monkey mind. And then we looked into the TV because out of the corner of my eye, there's a bunch of rainbows in the TV. But yeah, sorry, keep going with yours. But yes,
that's
he showed
crazy.
up. But I thought of you. I was like, oh, there he is.
That's crazy. He's my main man. And Michael came through, which was helpful to like know that I can call on him or be supportive in him. But throughout my reading, what really came through was the issue of saying no, which came through in my ayahuasca journey was more no, more discernment, more management of my energy. And the saying no will allow me to be more discerning, will allow me to be more clear, will allow me to be more thoughtful, will allow me to manage the leakages of energy and of, things that are just coming into my life that I'm not really looking forward to dealing with. So that was really, really powerful for me. More self-care. A lot of play came through. I always get play. Did you get play?
Yeah. So yeah, self-care was a thing. Self-care versus fun was kind of a thing we were looking at.
Interesting.
But I was talking about how like I feel the urge to play sometimes, and then I tell myself I can't.
Yeah. I mean, that's
so it's like that and like even in our partnership where like it's really good that we are in different seasons. Like when you're in business season and I'm in more of like a celebratory season, it's good because I can use that skill to maybe, do networking like that, like feels more social, and you're doing the behind the scenes. And then maybe when the next season and I'm more like behind the scenes and you know what I mean? It's an interesting thing happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, more play, but knowing. And for me, we were talking about drinking a lot, because I don't drink as much anymore, but there is that nostalgia in drinking. And so like anytime I do, it's never like I used to ever, because I can't anymore. But it's like, why am I drinking? Right? Like it's usually just that feeling of that memory of.
Totally.
And that's not my reality anymore. That's not my life anymore. So it's just interesting.
Yeah. I mean, drinking is like a way to play, it's like a gateway to play in a way,
Quote,
what
unquote,
I mean?
That's
like,
what I used to know that as.
Because you're not going to be doing anything else. And it's like play as a part of my self-care and my, like letting go a little bit. But it's so funny. Like I have a really hard time with the play thing. It's like, I get angry when I think about it. Like I actually have a visceral reaction of like an ego thing where I'm like, I can't play, where I'm like frustrated at it, where I'm like, feels like someone's telling me to play and it's frustrating to me because I'm like, I can't. You don't even understand. Like, I can't. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And it's like it's like a weird reaction that I have that I'm mindful of, but that I don't really know. I know what to do with it, but it's just like, I don't know. I'm kind of working with like breaking that. You know what I mean? Because I haven't had it is valuable to me, and it is important, and it is something that I integrate in my life in certain ways, but I haven't really been able to like understand the fruits of it fully in a success way. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
So
I also think there's just a lot of responsibility, and you shoulder a lot of responsibility. We both do, but it's just in different ways. And so, if someone's telling you to play, or just the feeling of I should play more, and it's like, no, I can't. Like, I got shit to do, and it's still in the growing stages. You know, it's like, I can feel that.
Being around a shit ton of lady bosses, I think guilt and anger are very common things that come up when you're telling someone to play or take a day for them or have self-care or whatever that looks like. And, then comes the anxiety, right? Everybody's like, but my fucking list of things to do is 200 things long. Like, I just can't take off today.
I know.
Right.
But you have to rest at some point.
Yeah. That's true.
You brought up sustainability.
Yeah, that's a good one.
In the reading, and having self-care that's sustainable. So even if it's just like going out on the balcony and I look up at the trees and be out there for 5 minutes, that's something I could do every day.
Yeah.
It's not like this grandiose ritual. It's just like, okay, I can do this every day.
Yep.
Yep. I think that's what gets people overwhelmed by self-care is, oh gosh, I have to take a 10-day silent retreat, or I have to go here for a whole day, when if you actually just start to integrate tiny rituals, and self-care should be curated, because whatever works for my self-care isn't going to work for either of you, maybe, right? So it is really about getting to know what your self-care rituals even are. And a lot of people, I've gone around and asked people, and they don't even know, because they've never even taken the time to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said too, like, this is an invitation for you to figure out like what it is, what it means to play, what it means to create time and space, for myself, or to, I don't know, like create those self-care rituals, which I have, I have them. But yeah, that was just really what I needed to hear today. I have like a leakage of energy in my life right now, where I have like some just weird random things that keep happening or have happened. And I know it's because of something that I'm allowing, or something that I'm doing, or a space that I've created. So I'm trying to figure out how to like better protect my energy in that way. And something else she brought up was like us growing and expanding, and, having the container for that. And like, at the moment, I don't necessarily have the container for the future of what we will be, of what this will become. And there was something interesting about Almost 30, which was like our differentiator, like focusing on our differentiator of Almost 30, which is our community, which is our focus on, women connecting with or without us, having those real, honest conversations. And then also to go deeper with our conversations, which we do. And then to really make sure that each of the interviews that we have, there is something like the key takeaway, or there is something that is super valuable, because what's valuable about Almost 30 is that we provide digestible information to people that they can't find anywhere else, besides the community. So that was really interesting too, was just really thinking about focusing on the value that we provide to people, and making sure that with each conversation that we schedule, or each interview that we put out, that we can understand the clear why, which I really love.
I love that.
Yeah. Because that was helpful for me too, to think about like our next couple months, what we have going on, and being like, because we do this all the time. It's like, we're like, oh, we have this. And we're like, okay, what's that? And then we're like, oh, it's whatever. And we're like, okay.
Yeah, being more intentional, knowing the why, and then actually saying it for ourselves, but then also for the community, I think is important, because they can see us do all this stuff all the time, the events, the episodes, the partnerships, but I think declaring the why is important, not only for us, for them, but then also energetically. Like I almost think of like my specific tarot card deck has, whatever it is, 5 of Pentacles, right? And then underneath are 3 words. It's almost like 3 takeaways, like, discernment, innocence and play or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So having that maybe be a part of our show notes, be a part of, what we post on social media or whatever it is. I think that's a really good point. Yeah. I love that.
That was beautiful. And then the last thing that just barely escaped me.
I'm actually going to ask you about Krista's place, the balcony, her balcony. So we both have balconies. What was hers in?
Health.
Cool.
Health.
My health is jumping off the balcony. What was my health is kind of like being outside.
That's what I was about to
being
say.
in nature.
Being outside. Yeah.
That's true.
About that.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And then also it was interesting too, actually, with my relationship was southeast. So it was in the corner of my bedroom where I had already created like an altar.
Nice.
And there was already tons of crystals and there was already like a really beautiful space where I was living and where I was.
Yeah. I am feeling so good lately. I have to say, I've been incorporating some supplements, vitamins, and herbal blends that I'm loving from Ancient Nutrition. I wanted to just share a few that have been really making a difference in my energy, in my cognitive function, in my ability to recover. I am loving the women's fermented multi from Ancient Nutrition right now. As you know, or maybe you don't know, women have specialized needs, so they deserve a multivitamin and mineral supplement that supports them in a real food fermented form. These nutrients in the supplement are from real food and fermented herbs. It has vitamin D3 and vitamin K, and it has a special organic women's botanical blend, as well as chromium, B12, along with other B vitamins. So basically like a B complex. And I was wondering, I'm like, why fermented? So I actually emailed the Ancient Nutrition team because I was like, I want to know why, because it's working, but I don't know why. Fermentation is an ancient process used to break down food into more absorbable components. So this is actually helping your food that you're already eating, the healthy, nutritious, whole foods that you're already eating, to break down and become more accessible and bioavailable. So this is really important for the body's functions and to make the most out of your food. I'm also loving the probiotic from Ancient Nutrition. They have Sbo Probiotics, which I really love. The survivable probiotic strains that occur naturally in the soil and are generally found in unprocessed fruit and vegetables. So SBO stands for soil-based organisms. So I'm learning just so much from Ancient Nutrition. If you go to ancientnutrition.com, it is a wealth of information about health and diet, recipes, articles. Truly, I'm learning something new every time I hop on there. And they have supplements for sleep, immune system, beauty, gut, joints, fitness, energy, wellness, brain function, you name it. So we'd love for you to try Ancient Nutrition, and you can use our code almost30 for 20% off first time orders. So that's ancientnutrition.com, and you can use our code almost30 for 20% off your first order. Your girl never has tampons when she needs them. I'm always like, oh shoot, I ran out and I need one right now. So I've solved this problem. I've been all about ordering things that arrive on time before I run out of them. And Lola is my go-to for organic cotton tampons, pads, liners, and I just trust them so much. This is a female-founded company, and they truly care about what you put in your body. There's no BS, no mystery fibers or doubts about what's going on with these products. They're simple, customizable, and I just think it's so easy. So basically with Lola, you can customize your box. So whether you prefer pads, liners, BPA-free plastic applicator, or environmentally non-applicator tampons, you can customize that box and it will show up straight to your door every single month. It's so easy. So easy. And what Lola is really about is empowering you. You know, the FDA doesn't require brands to disclose a comprehensive list of ingredients in their feminine care products. And so they don't, but Lola offers complete transparency about their ingredients found in their tampons, pads, liners, and wipes. And I'm just so proud to be able to partner with a brand like this who care about our feminine health. It is so important. And with every purchase, they donate feminine care products to homeless shelters across the US. So you are doing good with your purchase. So if you'd like to try Lola, we highly recommend you can go to mylola.com and enter the promo code almost30 at checkout when you subscribe for 40% off all subscriptions. So that's mylola.com. Enter the promo code almost30 for 40% off all subscriptions.
The last beautiful takeaway that I had was when we were talking about calendaring in.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a good one. So what Colleen does, and she says she does this during Christmas time, like when she's chilling with her family at the holidays, which is, I love a multitasking moment when I'm at home on the fucking couch with my family during the holidays.
Lady, I'm a Virgo.
I know. I love that shit. So what she does is she sits and takes her phone and puts in all of the astrological transitions of planets and, you know, full moon, new moon, Mercury retrogrades into her calendar so that she can be aware of that as she's doing business through the year.
Yeah. It's actually become one of the most powerful practices I do as a business owner. And fortunately, I'm in the woo business because sometimes when I tell people that, they look at me like I'm crazy. But if it's a moment of communication or it's a moment of turning in and you don't honor that, you're just like literally beating your fists up against the wall for no reason. Like you are just spinning your wheels when you don't need to.
So what would you say for people? I guess I said those things. Would you say those things will suffice for people to put in the calendar? And in addition to that, what would you suggest that they do on those things? Like what should they look out for and what should they be doing once they've put full moon, new moon, Mercury retrogrades into the calendar?
I mean, I think they just need to be aware. Like, obviously, you know, new moons are a day to call in what you want. Full moons are a day to release. A lot of girls that are super energetically sensitive may feel like we say like moon drunk on both the new and the full moon, or maybe it's just one or the other. So that's something, you know, and I know your listeners are all fall into the sensitive category. So I'm sure that'll resonate with people. Or for example, like, you know, we're in Aries season right now. So this is a time to like, you know, there's masculine energy, there's fire, like let's push forward, let's do. But we also just came out of Mercury in retrograde around Pisces, right? Which put us back into a dream state, which made us turn in. So it made sense. So it's like, don't try and like, you know, forge all this new business during a Mercury in retrograde when you're in a dreamy Pisces season, because you're just not going to hear from them until the planets shift again. But if you know all this, I think that also is another way to alleviate anxiety. You're like, oh no, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be because the planets are where they are. And I'm just going to hang tight or I'm going to put my focus elsewhere right now where everybody's focusing, right? Because like, tell me that like after this Mercury was over, all of a sudden you heard from everybody you hadn't heard in maybe like 6 to 8 weeks, right? Because we're taking the retro shade into account. And we're also in Aries, right? Everybody's like, let's do this now. Like everybody's checking everything off their list. Like how many emails do you guys have to answer right now? Is it fucking scary?
I don't want to talk about it.
Because my Virgo list of to-dos and emails is very scary right now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, I didn't do my taxes when they were due, so that's
then
first thing on my list.
Now, do you think
out of a billion people, you really think you're going to notice me?
Honest, that's what I think. Well, I thought it was due on literally my whole life. I was like, literally, this is my whole life. I'm like, taxes are due on 4/20. That's why it's a national weed smoking holiday, because people want to get high on 4/20. No fucking joke. I was like, 4/20, that makes so much sense. People want to get fucked up after tax day. Huh?
I think it makes sense.
What? Chloe's peeing.
I think what it would be even more fun is if you just told the IRS that Mercury was in retrograde this past so long and you couldn't sign that contract.
I should.
Honestly, see how that would go for you.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I hope
My
Marianne
extension's
Williamson gets elected president in 2020.
Yeah,
it's
Marianne
gonna
for
be
prez.
a fucking thing. If there's Mercury retrograde during tax season,
Literally.
She's going to give us all a free pass.
oh, I hope
Literally.
so. You mentioned water, fire, and that
That's
came
a good
up
one.
in both of our readings, and it made a lot of sense. She didn't tell me too much about you, but I knew you would be water.
Yeah.
And mine was
Which is
fire.
funny because I'm kind of both.
Totally.
You're
like have a
Yeah.
fire energy, but
water. Yeah.
Mhm. And in my northeast corner is success. And that's where the fire
Oh, cool.
places my
Oh, wow.
microphone stereo
Oh, wow.
plants. But the fire, can you explain kind of the ritual around fire that you suggested and why?
I will. Yeah. So I like to think every element has its own personality. And we'll talk about fire. And fire is known as, in shamanism, the great purifier element. So when you hear somebody, if you're hanging out with a bunch of shamans and they're like, oh, I just went to fire ceremony. Oh, I'm going to do a burn. What they're actually doing is new moon, full moon, or whenever you want, really.
Mhm.
Like if you just decide to gather, that's cool too. You're actually releasing maybe it's intentions or gratitudes or manifestations literally into the fire. So let's just say you made a manifestation list. And the thing is, it's not about like, burning your dreams up, because I've had people kind of say that to me because they're scared. They're like, oh, I don't like that. Or they get the love card in a reading and I'm like, throw that in the fire. And they're like, I don't want to throw my love in the fire. Well, it's not about that. What happens is, as a purifier, shamans believe that you're throwing whatever it might be into the fire. It's and then through the smoke, your prayers, your asking, your wishes is going up through the smoke and going into the universe, kind of where it needs to go. So there's more of a release. There's not like a negative, like, oh, toss that into
Like
the
it's
fire.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah. It's more of like releasing it and allowing it to go where it needs to go.
But a lot of times people burn stuff they want to release though, too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can definitely do that with intention. Like we just came from shaman school and sitting in the north direction, which is hummingbird. And there's an exercise in there that you are to, think about this. You're throwing all your teachers into the fire. And teachers could be people, like people that you actually look at as a teacher, friends that feel like teachers, or those like hard lesson teachers. Everyone here knows who I'm talking about. You throw all of them into the fire, and actually you actually throw yourself too. Like, so you take all these little pieces of paper, you're kind of putting your energy into each one of these people, including yourself, and you're doing it to like release old energy, release old relationship around whatever that was, so that everybody can go where they need to go and do what they need to do and be what they need to be.
Wow.
What about water?
Water? Oh, so water is the great shapeshifter. And if you think about that, right, water can be rain or ice or mist. It can slip through the smallest cracks that we can't even see. Water sometimes
Grows
alerts
mold.
us, right, that it can grow things. It alerts us that there's a leak somewhere that we didn't know about. So it's very shapeshifty.
How do people find out if they're fire or water?
They can just look at their astrology chart. It will tell them. If you look up, like I'm going to say Virgo because that's me. Virgo, element. It'll pop right up.
Okay.
Wow.
And then there was something else that you mentioned too in my session that really blew my mind related to citrine. So citrine is one of my favorite crystals, and I actually have a bunch of fake citrines.
Mm-hmm.
So when you came over and gave us the crystals that we used for the session, which we can talk about, which crystals you picked specifically, one of them was citrine, which is a
Success,
and
monetary abundance,
yes,
personal power. That's a crystal that relates to the third chakra. So below your heart and at the apex of your rib cage.
yeah. So can you talk about like what real citrine should look like and what fake citrine looks like?
I sure can. So if anybody out there sees that citrine that looks really, really yellow, like big bird yellow, that's actually heat treated amethyst. And natural citrine is going to look it could even look very close to like a clear quartz color. Sometimes it can even have like a
Smoky
light
quartz.
gray, smoky quartz, or like watered down pea.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to put it, like super watered down pea.
Yeah.
Right?
It was like a grayish, yellowish,
Yeah.
clearish. It just looked like a muddy, clear quartz.
A muddy clear quartz.
I have a bunch of citrine at my house that looks much brighter and definitely is heat treated amethyst. And I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. Same.
And that's why it's so much cheaper and citrine is actually meant to be very expensive.
Yeah.
Not very, but pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you get natural citrine, it's going to cost way more than perhaps the other one you're looking at. So if you're trying to wrap your mind around that in a crystal store, that's actually what's happening.
Wow.
Wow. I wanted to talk about creating altars.
Sure.
So I guess in my southwest corner I naturally kind of created, and I want to work on it, but naturally have, what is it? Wisdom?
Mm-hmm. That's the wisdom direction.
Oh, yeah.
Wisdom direction.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a shit ton of books around there, like in that corner and on my little night table and under my bed and on the little ledge. And
that's cool.
And I've always been drawn to that corner, just like in my nighttime stuff, I'll pull my cards there. I'll have my diffuser there, whatever. So what is the importance of creating an altar, which I want to do over there, and what should be on it, or, how do we honor it?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the beautiful practice with altars is that they can be made of anything and done anywhere, right? And that's what I love. It's not just like walking into a temple or a church and seeing this big permanent space. So as far as for you, when we were talking about the wisdom corner and you putting an altar there, your body knew what to do. Like you already actually started doing that, because there's all these, you think about wisdom, you think about books, and there was all these piles of books, but it's like, when does this actually switch over to a sustainable self-care practice is when you're doing it with intention and knowledge, right?
Right.
You're actually putting in the knowledge. You're like, okay, I know this is my wisdom corner. Like, so what does sit there, right? Books sit there, crystals that have to do with wisdom sit there, other things that maybe like, a business plan could sit there, maybe, if that's a space where you're trying to call in more wisdom. A picture of someone that's really wise in your life, like teachers' photos could go in that corner. So I think, everybody's altar is going to look different, but it is about making it personal, but also making it sustainable and what works for your life, your space, your time, your resources.
Yeah.
And just remember, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? So you do you and make it work for you.
No, that's really helpful. And it is really, and I talked about this in my solo episode when I talked about my ayahuasca experience, but I saw myself doing my morning and nighttime rituals. I saw it like as if I was watching a movie, and I just started crying. And it's just, I want to reiterate to our listeners that what you are doing by yourself in your own time, in those little moments, morning, evening, whenever it is, in your own space that you've created that is special to you, your husband, your girlfriend, your friends might think is weird, is really, really important. And it's just so much bigger than you can imagine. Like these consistent things that you are doing for yourself, and the honoring, and just like the connection to source that an altar can bring, using crystals, pulling cards, going out in nature can bring to you. So that was just a really good reminder, because I have been wanting to kind of make that space a bit more like altar-like.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Was my thing in my ayahuasca too. So your thing from your ayahuasca journey came up too.
Yeah.
Which was interesting.
I know. Slowly, things keep coming up for us, because we had a pretty gentle experience relatively to everyone else. But I think, for us, it's almost like a slow release pill where we're like, oh,
totally.
Look at a tree and they tell me something. I'm like,
Yeah, honestly. Dude.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. But
what else?
Oh, so the monkey mind thing we were talking about, so I pulled the monkey card. I want to bring in the fact that we pulled cards and placed them on each direction as well. So why did we do that? Just to kind of remind everyone the purpose of pulling cards, and then we'll get into specifics.
Sure. So, and I want to say the experience that you ladies both have today, this is something that I've melded together from many different modalities, and then just kind of messages from my guides coming together of why this was all happening, how it did today. So I bring, so it's like, you're not going to have a feng shui practitioner come over and maybe do tarot, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to make that clear. It's not a standard practice to get crystals and tarot cards from a feng shui practitioner. So why I do that, first of all, because I love them. And I think that, tarot cards are really just like a post-it note from the universe of what's up for us right now. This is like what's trending for us right now. Like, where are we in our journey or story? When you have something visual to look at, it helps you, to literally be reminded. And then, as I was telling the girls, and I think this came up more with Lindsay, and if you've ever done a reading with me or will do a reading with me, you'll get tarot cards there too. And the idea is, once you've worked through the energy of what's on the card, you release the card, you burn, bury, or set to see the card, whatever form you like, but you're taking it back to the elements. You're starting to actually work with the universe, help the universe start to actually shift energy for you. But it's because energy goes where you put it. So if you're putting your intention there, it's going to go there, right?
Yeah.
Good, bad, or ugly.
Yeah.
So it gives a space as a reminder. It gives a space as an invitation for ritual and ceremony to come into play. So I think tarot cards are really valuable and can be powerful. And it's also like, it's a nice place to actually start a conversation with somebody that may not be familiar with this practice or uncomfortable or scared. And when I talk to people about this, I want them to be in a very happy and comfortable place when we do our work together.
Yeah, and you use a bunch of different decks. You've always used so many decks. So what are some of your favorite decks that you use that people could also check out?
Oh my goodness.
So one deck we love is compass cards.
Oh, compass cards?
Yes.
Yeah. Compass cards are amazing. They're amazing because Neil, the intuitive and artist that does the cards, I love that all her cards literally look like artwork on there, one. And two, at the bottom, there's a simple word. And for me, a tips and tricks of somebody that's just getting into all this. And, the Rider-Waite style deck word is, you see 4 of Pentacles and 3 of Wands and 2 of Swords and all those things. That all has its time and place. But as for somebody that's a newbie to this, sometimes that's just too many steps forward. And you don't want someone to be turned off by the process. You want to invite them in. And so, picking up a card from, say, Neil, for example, of Compass, where it just says gratitude on it, or it says change, your mind immediately goes somewhere. You at least understand what that means. So I really, really like her cards.
We did a giveaway with them too.
Yeah.
We love them.
So, I have 65 decks currently circulating in my healing studio of cards that people can pick from. And I like to keep it fun. There's spirit animal cards and goddess cards, and there are Rider-Waite cards in there. There's also mantra cards and self-care cards and all these different types of cards. I think it's really important because it helps you build this really interesting story. And or I've had this happen so many times because I have the client actually pick the cards. They'll pick, so think about it. I probably have 2,000 cards out in my studio. Somebody will pick, and again, let's keep it simple here and say love. They'll pick up 2 cards from 2 different decks out of 2,000 cards that both are bringing message around, let's say, change in the love department. And for somebody to look and say, the SAT question, what's the probability of somebody picking these 2 cards that mean this out of, blah, blah, blah. It's really, high or not high that would happen.
Wow.
So that's what I do with the tarot. That's why tarot are at least important to me. I think my new favorite cards that I just got in were, if anybody does not follow Spiritual as Fuck on Instagram, they need to. She just came out with 2 decks of cards, which are called Spiritual as Fuck and Grateful as Fuck. And again, she's keeping it real, keeping it simple with simple, grounded messages, as opposed to stuff that doesn't, maybe for the novice, feel attainable. So that's why, and some humor. Like, we all need humor in our life. Like, why so serious?
I know.
Honestly.
Can't with it.
Honestly.
So true.
And I like to, and that's why I love the way you do your work and how it's so approachable, because, I like to bring my tarot with me. Like, I like to kind of like share in this with other people. And, some people are like, well, what is that? But a lot of people are just curious. Like, so to make it relatable and digestible is kind of the gateway for them. So anyway, I love that.
Coming into, to your point, if you're bringing them with a bunch of friends, coming into a conversation with a foreign language isn't going to make the conversation flourish. And if you use, a common thread or a common language that everybody can understand, you're going to have a way better experience.
Right.
Like, for example, oh my gosh. And again, I had to learn this the hard way. So sometimes I've brought, like, when I do public events, like I'll bring crystals and tarot sometimes. And I've learned, and again, I'll tell you why, when you look at like a traditional tarot deck, there's the death card that's in there, right? Or the devil card, the tower card, which those cards all are like, it might not mean physical death, but there's transformation and change and birth, and like all this stuff is coming in. But if somebody picks the death card, and I'm doing a 5-minute reading at a press event and they pick that, that's way too jarring for that to be happening there, and to actually explain, no, nobody's dying. This is a phase of like, transition and transformation, not like, where your mind just went. And that it's not okay, because like, I'm not fostering a safe environment for that person to enter into this. And it's not a good idea. Again, somebody that's never come towards this practice.
Did you get death card?
No, I got failure around relationships. Oh, this one was, what did the failure say? It's in my bathroom.
What do you mean? It says failure.
It literally was
in relationships. It's in your bathroom, like toilet.
Yeah, so it was
in the pooper.
Relationships direction. But it's towards so that corner is that window is always open. That little
the shower window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot having to do with water being the shapeshifter, cleansing, but also like, we talked about kind of, sometimes I feel like water because I just mold to like where I am and who I'm with. And I kind of lower myself to maybe their level with the guys, especially. But the card was failure, but it said, these are like learning, like lessons that you're learning. It's not failure. Like the word was failure.
Yeah.
Where did Raziel come up? Relationship?
Yeah, he was over here,
which is
the east.
The direction in shamanism around death and transformation.
Okay.
Yeah,
because he's
he's in this corner. Sorry,
which corner?
Sorry. So Raziel's over here,
which is success,
singing, fireplace, fire, which was interesting.
It has a message. That card, it had a message around like spiritual intuition.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, the signs. Oh, esoteric signs.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
So like just being very, aware of that as well.
Wow.
But yeah, the relationship one was interesting failure. because I tend to I go between resentment and presence.
Yeah, of course.
Resenting someone for not being what I thought they would be or what this could be.
And then appreciating
and then just being like, I'm present. Like they're teaching me this.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah. But the thing was, it's like when we talked through it, like where's the sweet spot in the failure card, of course, okay, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't meant to be, but actually looking at every person, whether it's a love relationship, a friendship, family members, colleagues, if that relationship has ended for whatever reason, of like really giving gratitude and going, okay, how was that person a quote unquote like greatest teacher to me, because sometimes the greatest teachers come with the hardest messages, right? About what did you learn from that person? Even though it ended, they were in your life for a certain amount of time. What did they teach you? Even if like, think about it. If they overstepped their bounds and acted like a huge asshole, but you also needed to step up your boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were teaching you a lesson around boundaries.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's actually, it's a great card and something to contemplate. And I was telling Lindsay, I think a great ritual practice for her, like make a list of all the relationships she views as failed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because it's only her perspective, and seeing what each of these people brought to her lives and actually thanking them for it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's really, for anyone listening, I think that's a really interesting practice, because you can think about it, but to actually take time and maybe write it down and really digest that, because then going forward, it's more of that rather than holding on to what never was or what you don't have, like it is, I think deepens the gratitude for every relationship.
Wow.
All right, everyone, I have some warm weather hacks, and Kopari is helping me to do it. I don't necessarily shower as much in the summer. I don't know why. But I have these new coconut melt wipes from Kopari, which is mess-free, which number one, and it's super hydrating for your body. So these are body wipes that you can use on the go, whether you're kind of in between maybe a light workout, between your workday and going out, what have you. They smell delicious. They are clean. And they are good for you.
There are so many products of Kopari's that I love, but one product I saw Justin using just the other day in the shower, and it was the Coconut Crush Scrub. So it is a coconut-based exfoliating scrub that is amazing for KP. So on my arms, I have KP. It really helps to get all the dead blood cells or dead skin cells off, and just leaves me fresh and clean. What else I love from them are their oil pullers. So they have travel-sized little oil pullers that I bring to oil pull on the go. So I've been oil pulling for about 2 years now, and it's really made a difference in my overall oral health very easily.
And most of their products, if not almost all of their products, start with 100% organic coconut oil and made with the purest intentions there. So their coconuts are sourced safely, and they have no sulfates, no silicones, no parabens, non-GMO, no toxins, nothing like that. So you don't ever have to worry. And for our listeners, we're really excited. You're getting 20% off when you go to koparibeauty.com/almost30. That's KOPARIbeauty.com/almost30, and you'll get 20% off your first order.
Yep. And just note too, so the codes Almost 30 and Almost 30 Nation are no longer active. So to get the discount, you have to go to koparibeauty.com/almost30. So to get 20% off, go to koparibeauty.com/almost30.
Just stocked up again on my Four Sigmatic. I don't know if I'll ever get sick of it, to be completely honest. Four Sigmatic has completely changed my morning and evening routine. It is a staple, and I truly feel so good using their products. They use the magic of mushrooms to make adaptogenic blends, coffees, lattes, and they're delicious. They really, truly care about their ingredients. I've talked to Taro about this. He will delay processes because he's obsessed with sourcing the best ingredients for each and every one of his products. And that's what I like. I really love the mushroom coffee with lion's mane. This is a great way to focus without the jitters. Sometimes coffee gives me the jitters, but with chaga and lion's mane in this blend, it's really great for productivity, focus, creativity, and balance. Truly, it's not anything that I have an adverse effect to. I also really, really love the mushroom matcha latte with maitake. It's a really smooth, delicious blend. It has coconut milk powder in it, which is delicious, and super herb moringa. And all you need is hot water with most of these blends, to be honest. You can do hot water only, or you can add nut milks if you'd like, but I love it with just hot water. And these particular latte blends are dairy-free, which which we love. So visit foursigmatic.com/almost30. You'll find coffees, elixirs, blends, even skincare and other swaggy swag, mushroom swaggy swag. It's really cool. So Foursigmatic, FOURSIGMATIC.com/almost30. You'll be taken to our landing page with some recommendations from Krista and I. And then you can use the code almost30 at checkout for 15% off your first order. Highly recommend stocking up. I love these products. I would love to know what you're using. So DM us or join the secret Facebook group. Let us know. And I just can't recommend Four Sigmatic enough. Foursigmatic.com/almost30. Use the promo code almost30 at checkout for 15% off.
How could our girls potentially do like a chart like this? Could they do one of these at home?
So it's part of the 9-star astrology system and getting your QA number.
QA number.
Yeah.
Is that QUA?
KUA.
KUA. Cool.
Yeah. So if they wanted to Google all of that or go to feng shui school and learn more about it, or come into a session with me if they want to, there's like all these different layers of how they could actually start to engage with this practice.
Wow. And there was also what you brought over was, I want to talk about the pendulum and then the feather and then the herbs.
Okay. Yes.
So one of the other gifts that Lindsay and I picked was a pendulum. So we got these gangster pendulums from
Pound Pendulum.
Pendulum. Mine is a blue lepis. And they're dope because it's on this gold chain and it's got this little fist on it. But the way that I picked mine was she had 5 laying out that were in little bags. And I took my current pendulum, which is a crystal, a moonstone that Justin's mom gave me. And I allowed it to choose, and it chose the blue lepis, which is really
beautiful.
Timely because I have a lot of outstanding conversations I need to be having with a lot of people in my life. And I'm really working on communication as the way to my heart and soul and spirit. So that was like perfectly aligned. And this is a beautiful pendulum that I will use, daily, even to check my chakras through like the Reiki work that I've been doing. But what would someone use a pendulum for?
Oh, so pendulums you can use for all kinds of things. You can ask it yes or no questions. That's like the easy basic one. You can find where there is unrest in the body or the chakra system. So you can actually put it over the body and see where work might need done or where there's stuck energy. You can find water with the pendulum. You can see where there's dense energy in a space with a pendulum. So there's so many things that you can use. You can pick crystals and cards with a pendulum. So you first, when you get your pendulum, do you need to set it first to understand what's yes and what's no, and then go from there? Totally. So statistically speaking, when a pendulum swings clockwise, that's a yes. When it swings counter, that's a no, but not for everybody. Some pendulums may even swing in a north to south direction, or could even it almost looks like it's pulling and shaking towards the earth, like really rapidly. My best tips and tricks on that one is you ask your pendulum dumb factual questions that you know the answer to, right? So if I say, is my name Colleen? And my pendulum, I know mine swings clockwise for yes, it does that. And if I were to say, is my name Krista or Lindsay? It's going to swing counter for no. So asking what day of the week it is when it's not that day, or what your name is, or where were you born? Questions like that, and watching what the pendulum does will help you learn what your yeses and nos are. And then you can just run wild with it.
Wow. And then you also gave us, I got the chlorite.
The chlorite, that's right.
So it's kind of like the water and the sun for plants.
Yeah.
It is reminding me of where I'm having self-doubt. But
it's the cleanser pendulum.
The cleanser, that's right.
And so when you think about it's chlorite, chlorophyll, right? That's with plant-based. This is a reminder, the sun and the water grow plants. So what cleanses you, what makes you grow, right?
Yeah. It's beautiful. I love it so much.
And what's the best part? It's a necklace.
I know it's sick. It's a sick necklace.
So beautiful. I love it. And then the herbs that you gave us.
The herbs
stuff was rad. That gave me chills,
that.
actually.
Ooh, me too.
It really did, because I really felt like the example you gave me was using it like, this is so dumb, but at Coachella.
Oh yeah.
Literally, it's so dumb, but it's just, there is a specialness to honoring wherever you are in nature, wherever you are, the ground,
and that's
wherever you
sacred
are.
land out there.
It is.
It is. So the idea, there's 4 sacred herbs in shamanism: sage, cedar, sweetgrass, tobacco, and I like to put a little lavender in for calmness and beauty and all the things, and it smells so good.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that wherever you go, dropping a little bit of the herbs out of this little bag and just saying, thank you for having me to this land. I'm grateful to be here, saying hello to the spirits of the land. And where do you do this? Krista was joking about Coachella, but I did actually tell her, because they just came back, that it is on sacred land, and thanking the spirits of the land for having them there and to have a safe journey, right? Or a good time, or any of these things, and just doing that. And if you, again, don't even believe in what I'm saying, but it's a matter of you giving you a ritual practice to stop and just have gratitude for something, then it's worth it, right? You can also, like, again, what's a more formal situation? Like, you go into a church or a temple and you want to leave an offering at the stoop or on the actual altar. You could do that. Hiking in a canyon is a great way. Going to the beach, anywhere that you might be out in the elements, or some places feels like super sacred or highly energetic, like Sedona, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you could use the herbs.
Love that.
Beautiful.
And then the feather.
And then the feather.
What kind of bird?
Turkey vulture.
Cool.
If anybody's wondering what, I'm not going to say all, but many of shamanic feather fans are made of, it's turkey vulture. So the idea around that is, when you swoosh yourself with a feather or a feather fan, you are clearing dense energy off your energetic field and your body. And again, this is one of those things, like, people that don't believe in it, or they've never had themselves like feathered off before a spiritual event or something like that, because that happens sometimes. People just go, I don't know what it is, but I just feel better. And again, I'm like, cool, that's enough, right? So I gave each of the ladies a single feather so that they can do that in their own practices. I think it's, again, this like sustainable self-care. Like, what are some tools, some busy boss babes that you can actually do to keep your energy clear when you're on the go? We also talked about the paper crane apothecary clean slate spray. Again, so you just came out of a tense meeting. You just got off the airplane. You're in a hotel, like somewhere that you cannot light sage on fire. It just wouldn't be cool. You can use that instead. It's like one of my go-to travel products.
It's genius.
I think that's a big takeaway. The idea that if it works for you and you feel better, that's enough.
Exactly.
Like whether it's, swooshing yourself with a feather, whether it's pulling cards daily, whether it's using a pendulum to make your decisions, if you feel better, do it. I think our mind tends to go to, well, what is actually happening? Like, what is this? Like, what? Because we think we have to explain it to someone, or to ourselves. But I think that's a really, really good point. Oh, Colleen. So good.
So what's happening now?
Yeah, what's happening? You birthed a baby.
Birthed the baby book, Crystal RX.
Let's be clear about that. A book, not a physical baby. Lady,
And
don't
it's-
spread rumors.
It's beautiful. It's perfect. Like, I was telling Lindsay, this is like the perfect crystal book for me, just because it's easy to read, easy to understand. It has all the information you need related to like historical significance of certain crystals and in certain cultures, of how to use crystals, how to clean them. It's really like a perfect book for your coffee table if you want to flip through and understand crystals in a better way. And this was the type of book I was looking for. And I just really appreciate, that you did it. It's so great.
Thank you. And it was like birthing a child.
I'm sure.
It was
I'm sure.
a lot of joy and a lot of pain and a little bit of crying in the corner because I basically had dumped 11 years of training into this book, which is such a crazy experience. It's been out for a few months and I really like the feedback I've been getting from people that they'll come up to me and they're like, well, I didn't actually read it right away. Or they're like, I just let it sit on my coffee table. But then I go to it and they're like, I realized it was a reference book or a textbook for me. And I would go to it when I was looking for a certain piece of information instead of just like sitting down and reading cover to cover and then like putting it on the shelf.
Right.
So I thought that was really interesting because in a way that wasn't, it wasn't my intention when I was writing for that to happen or to be an outcome of the book.
Yeah.
You should be really proud.
Thank you.
And thank you for our sessions.
Yeah, they were
today.
amazing.
They were really, really amazing.
Really needed. I had to cancel everything on our calendar for the next month.
I know.
Just kidding.
Wait, did we want to choose the spiritual spot card to close out? Is that what you're? Yeah.
And then just what are you doing this year? Like what can girls expect from you?
Oh my God. So
Tell us what's up.
So I actually, what else was going on with me? I moved both my house and my healing studio from Venice to Santa Monica. So not a huge leap in distance. But what's really exciting is that I'm now in collaboration with two extremely special, talented women. And we've really gone into a space where we can host intuitive beauty for those that are into it. You can come in and get a reading with me. And there's also another room set up with my friend Andy Scarborough, who owns Crownwork. She is the crystal comb girl, as people call her. And so you can go in and get ritual hair cutting sessions with her. And then our third collaborator in our space, her name is Julie Pollier, and she is a shamanic facialist. So if you're looking to get a day of beauty, it's a wild one. We have a tea room, so you can come in,
That's
sit.
like perfect before you get married.
Right?
Yeah.
You can
Or
come
something
and zen
like
out.
that.
I already have all my shit. It's like for my wedding, I have nothing but like all my beauty rituals.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, we're going to like put the herbs there.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. Wow. That must feel so good.
It feels so good. And I think
And she's got a wedding ring on, but it's not a wedding ring.
Stop
so.
it. That's another episode.
I know.
But I think, the space is pretty exciting and we're next door to Love Coffee, which how sweet is that?
I love that.
But what I'll tell you, like, why do you really need to come there? Because we have the bathroom wallpapered in large scale crystal print. So it literally looks like you walk into a crystal cave when you go into the bathroom.
Genius.
Come on.
Genius.
Wow.
I love it.
Great
That's
place
amazing.
to take a selfie.
Can't wait to visit.
Yes.
I'm going to be there. Okay. Wait. Is this,
Okay.
So I got a grateful as fuck card.
Oh,
What
you
did
want
yours
grateful
say?
as fuck?
Yeah. I
Okay.
went with the grateful as fuck deck. This is from
this deck is dope.
Spiritual as fuck.
Spiritual _ as fuck is her Instagram. And she's
knockknockstuff.com. My card
Amazing.
says, when you're on the verge of having a shitty ass day and you walk by someone and they flash you a big friendly smile for no reason, other than that you're a human being and they're a human being. And isn't it just nice to be outside with other human beings? That smile thing we do as humans is pretty fucking amazing. Pro tip, if you decide to be a smile instigator, keep the smile under 5 minutes or else you slip into serial killer face and it is no longer a good thing.
That's amazing.
Agreed.
I
There was
love
a guy
that.
at my yoga studio today that was really friendly and I thanked him in my head for making my day.
Mine is from the Spiritual as Fuck deck. What's the best that could happen? You're probably super good at thinking up the worst case scenario, right? You can project all your fears onto a big screen and play them out in vivid color. You can actually feel the anger of the confrontation you haven't confronted, the loss of the job you haven't been fired from, the death of the star you haven't dared to shoot for. Try putting those superpowers to work in the opposite direction. Imagine how you could be surprised and delighted in those same scenarios. Daydream instead of worry. Say hey to that cool ass shit.
It's a good one.
That's awesome.
It's a really good one.
Wow.
I also went for the spiritual as fuck deck. Worrying is a negative prayer.
That's a good one.
Amen
Yeah.
to that one.
Amen.
And it says, you don't need any of that kind of angsty, nail-biting bullshit today. If you catch yourself worrying, take a deep breath and ask the universe for what you really want, not what you don't want. The universe always lets you change your order. And hell yeah, you want fries with that. Supersize that shit.
That's a good one.
I needed that one today. Love that. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen.
Where can our homies connect with you? Where can they get the book?
They can get the book anywhere books are sold, and it's definitely available on Prime if you need it in 48 hours.
Great.
Hallelujah. You can also connect with me on stylerituals.com and on IG at style_rituals.
Yay.
We love you. Thank you so
you
much.
guys.
You're so generous and so loving. And
Yeah, this was just what I needed. I'm really grateful. It always happens when I need it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
pleasure.
Connect with Colleen. We love you all. Thanks for listening.
See you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
Crystals, baby.
We love them.
Thanks, Colleen. You're the best. You can go to stylerituals.com for more information and to get her new book, Crystal RX.
Yeah. And we will see you in Nashville. We will see you here in LA soon. We also have dates in New York. We're doing 3 different events. Aaron Claire on human design, Stuart Pierce on activating the voice and spirituality. And then we have our live show with Nikki Glazer, which we are so excited about. That will sell out. All of these will sell out in the next couple weeks. So make sure you grab your tickets. And then we will be doing Philly, Ohio, and DC. And then ending up in Miami at the end of the year.
Yeah, we cannot wait. And this is random, but important if you're interested in trying a new meal delivery service. I just wanted to shout out because she's our girl and just, founder, CEO, goals for life. Danica Brescia, the founder of Model Meals. She's offering our community $35 off your order with the code almost30VIP. So modelmeals.com, code almost30VIP for $35 off. I highly, highly recommend. These meals are thoughtful. So the sourcing of the food is incredible. They're just masters. So highly recommend. We love you all. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.